Hare Krishna. Let me do this. We'll be singing Udilo Arana Prabhu. Darpan, you can put it in. You can put it in the chat box. Udilo Aruna Purava Bhagya by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, and then we'll read the translations after. So, okay. Shona
bhakti vinoda pran.
Krishna naam shuddha pariyapa. Judao bhakti vinoda pran.
Krishna nam shuddha pariyapa. Jurao bhakti vinoda pran.
Judao bhakti Hare Krishna. Let me remove my spotlight. We'll see who's here. Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining. We'll just read the translations real quick of this song, and then we can go ahead with the next part of the program, which is class by His Grace, Jagat Sakshi Prabhu. So I'll just read the translations to the first part because we're a little short on time. When a tinge of red on the eastern horizon heralded the sunrise, the jewel of the twice-born Lord Gaurasundar immediately awakened. Taking his devotees with him, he went all over the countryside, visiting the towns and villages of Nadia. The mridangas resounded, tathai, tathai. The cymbals chimed in time, and Lord Gauranga's footbells jingled as his golden form trembled slightly in ecstatic love of God. Lord Chaitanya called out to the townsfolk, "You spend your nights uselessly sleeping and your days decorating your bodies. Now just fill your mouth with the vibration of the holy names, Mukunda, Madhava, Yadava, Hari, chanting without offense. You have achieved the rare human body. Don't you care for this gift? If you do not serve the darling of Yashoda now, great sorrow awaits you at death. Each time the sun rises and sets, a day passes and is lost. Then why do you remain idle and refuse to serve the Lord of the heart? Understand this essential fact. Life is temporary and full of all kinds of miseries. So make it your only business to take shelter of the holy names and always engage in his service. Desiring to bless all souls, the sweet name of Krishna has descended to the material world and now shines like the sun in the sky of the heart, destroying the darkness of ignorance. Drink the pure nectar of the holy name of Krishna and thus satisfy the soul of Bhakti Vinod. There is nothing but the holy name within all the 14 worlds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very beautiful song to sing in the beautiful but sobering song to sing in the morning. We would like to pause our study of the songs of the Vaishnava Acharyas for this week, and we will move on to our next part of the program, is his Bhagavatam class by Jagat Sakshi Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Jagat Sakshi Prabhu. I'll just give a quick introduction to Jagat Sakshi Prabhu. Jagat Sakshi Prabhu is the temple president of ISKCON Trivandrum in Kerala, and he's also the chairman of ISKCON Kerala. And Kerala is a state in India, and it's a very important state as well. And he's a doctoral candidate in Bhagavad-Gita. He's well known throughout India for his Bhagavad-Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam pravachans. And for the last 5 years, he was able to give Bhagavatam class regularly on Janam TV, which is a very popular television station in India. And then he has served in very ancient Krishna temples as well as a servant. And we've had Prabhu on the Sangha for I think one other time. And a lot of our devotees were very enthused to hear him again. So we are very honored to have his association. So the schedule is, it's 8 o'clock here on the East Coast. Prabhu will speak for about 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then there will be some question and answer. And if everybody can turn on their cameras, if possible, it will make the whole experience a lot more personal. And we're personalists, not impersonalists around here. So Jagat Sakshi Prabhu, you can take it over. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Prabhu? Is it clear?
Yes, Prabhu. Loud and clear.
Yeah. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutiraye He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So my humble pranams to all the assembled devotees. Today we are going to discuss from first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th chapter and text number 16 onwards. This is where Ashwatthama sent his Brahmastra weapon against Arjuna and Uttara. So this is a beautiful shlokas. Today we are going to compare this shlokas with some kind of a leadership session. Fortunately, the same shlokas were taken for a seminar, in a leadership seminar. So I thought they will once again present the same thing here. This is understanding from Ashwatthama's life, what kind of a personality he is. So three main qualities of Ashwatthama. He was an unqualified leader. He was immature, and he will get easily influenced by material nature. So a Vaishnava, a devotee who is very serious about his spiritual life, should overcome all these defects. He was an immature person, unqualified person, and he will be easily influenced by material nature. So, first, immaturity of Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama, as we all know, son of Dronacharya, a Brahmin boy. Now, first thing, immaturity of Ashwatthama. We are going to compare Ashwatthama and his father Dronacharya. Both of them were in a kind of a similar situation. When Dronacharya got the news that his son Ashwatthama is dead, Dronacharya loved his son more than anything in this world. Even though Dronacharya lost so many things in this world, for him, son means everything. Because he was so deeply attached to his son, even though his son was not qualified, Dronacharya taught him Brahmastra. Actually, Ashwatthama approached Dronacharya many times. Please teach me the secret weapon. Please teach me the mantra for this weapon. He was asking, requesting again and again. And Dronacharya said, sorry, my dear son, you are not qualified. But because he was asking again and again, so Dronacharya taught him the secret mantra for Brahmastra weapon. That is how Ashwatthama got this weapon. So now we are comparing two instances. When Dronacharya got the news that his son was dead, son was very close to his heart, immediately Dronacharya pulled himself from the material nature. He dropped his quiver, he dropped his bow and arrows, and in the middle of the battlefield in Kurukshetra, he sat down. He just dropped his armor, his quiver, he dropped everything. And Dronacharya sat down in the middle of the battlefield. And Sita, he was deeply in meditation, thinking, this is all will of providence. Human energy can never win over karma unless it is blessed by Lord Krishna. So immediately he shut his senses and he was meditating and he was ready to give up his life. That is how Dronacharya reacted when he got the news that Ashwatthama is dead. But on the other case, when Ashwatthama got the news that his father was dead, immediately Ashwatthama became very violent, very angry. With vengeance, he said, this is all because of Arjuna and Bhima. I will rip them apart. I will kill them. I will smear their blood all over my body. See, Dronacharya was a very mature person. He was trying to find spiritual answers, whereas Ashwatthama is not. So a deep spiritual practitioner will always understand there are two causes for everything that happens in this world. Two causes are there. That's why even in Brahma Samhita, Krishna says, it is said, Sarva Karana Karanam. They can say one Karana, one cause is enough. But why 2 times the word is used? Because for every action and reaction in this world, there is an immediate cause and there is an ultimate cause. Materialistic person will see the immediate cause. A spiritualist will see the ultimate cause. For example, somebody came and slapped me and I was disturbed. The immediate cause is that so-and-so person had slapped me. But the ultimate cause is that that is my karma. And on the particular Sunday or Saturday morning, 8 o'clock, I'm supposed to get slapped. So a spiritualist will know that that's because of the karma, and he will focus on the ultimate cause. But a materialistic, oh, you slapped me, I will, give it to you back. I will take revenge and vengeance. So this transformation of understanding is a deep spirituality. When we have that kind of a vision to see the ultimate cause in every action, then we will be able to control our emotions, control our reacting mentality, and such a person becomes dhira, sober. He rises above the dualities of the world. So here it is very clear. Ashwatthama is immature. And second thing, what we learn from Ashwatthama's life is, Ashwatthama can be easily lured by material, things. Influence, material nature, very easily can influence Ashwatthama. Again, we will take Dronacharya's example. On the 11th day, till 10 days of Mahabharat battle, Bhishma was the commander-in-chief. And from 11th day, it was Dronacharya, father of Ashwatthama. So when Dronacharya became the commander-in-chief, Duryodhana came and Duryodhana glorified Dronacharya. Now you are the commander-in-chief. You are the primary person of our army, and we believe you, we trust you that you are taking us for victory. And we all following, and spoke so many flowery language, very artistically, diplomatically. So Dronacharya said, Duryodhana, you don't have to do all these things. I know my duty very well. and I will do my duty. You don't have to, speak all good words, sweet words, inspire me and this and that. Because Dronacharya could understand what he is exactly. But in the case of Ashwatthama, when Dronacharya said the same thing, when Duryodhana said the same thing to Ashwatthama after the battle, 18 days, war is over, everything is over. Almost every single soul from Kaurava's army was killed. Only 3 people were not killed. Ashwatthama, Kripacharya, and Duryodhana. But Duryodhana is hiding inside a pond. And 2 are roaming around, Ashwatthama and Kripacharya. And they came to meet Duryodhana, who is hiding inside the pond after the battle. So Duryodhana again said the same thing to the Ashwatthama. I don't know. I lost all my army. Now I don't have any desire to get my Hastinapur back. But I want to seek revenge. I completely trust upon you, hey Brahman Putra, the son of Brahmana. You are everything. You are the savior of Hastinapur now. Now you should, repay for what we have got and all sorts of things. And Ashwatthama was influenced. And he did the most abominable activity. He went and killed 5 infant children of Draupadi who were sleeping, chopped them into pieces and set fire to the camp, which a soldier should never do, which a Brahmana should never do. They're innocent children. Simply influenced. The first thing is very immature. And very easily he will get influenced by material nature. So a devotee should not, at least he should be able to pray to Krishna. Maya Javanika Channam. Kunti Maharani says this Maya is very attractive. There is not a single soul who was not attracted by this material nature. Only devotees who have taken complete shelter of the lotus feet of Lord could surpass this attraction. This is like a silk curtain in a drama theater. Maya Javanika. Javanika means silk curtain. Nobody can cross over this effulgence. So Krishna, so somebody should be able to pray and depend on the mercy of Krishna like that. Otherwise, it's very easy. We will get carried away. And the third, he was an unqualified person, undeserved person who got this Brahmastra. So a devotee should be spiritually strong enough to face this material world. It's very important. He has to charge his spiritual energy by regularly chanting, reading Prabhupada's books, and doing Sankirtan, rendering devotional service. So there's a beautiful analogy. There was a man with a gentle heart, kind-hearted person, very charity-minded, a noble person, young man. One day he saw a girl. She was handicapped. She was on the wheelchair, and she always needs some assistance to survive in this world. So this young man felt pity. By nature, he was very, very good, noble soul. He felt pity. Then he thought, I should give her a life. She always needs someone's help. She's on the wheelchair. For every small thing, she needs some help. So he went and he was ready to marry her. And everybody asked, are you sure? Can you do this? This is not an easy thing. This is a very big sacrifice. And the man said, no, I'm aware of that. I will do this. I want to help this girl. And everybody appreciated his, great sacrifice. Then he got married. Then he was like everything for her, carrying her, even for basic things, basic needs, She can't do anything on her own. So he was like literally helping her. Then over a period of time, this boy developed a very bitter attitude against her. By the presence, by her simple presence, he gets irritated. He starts reacting, this thing is something which really happened. Then he starts blaming her for everything, cursing her. And he started saying that I ruined my life by marrying you. And she broke down and she was in tears. And she used to say, you know all these things beforehand, then why did you marry me? So he was a very nice person and he really wanted to help her. But what happened over a period of time? The burden was so high, so heavy, he was not strong enough to lift that burden, even though he had a good intention. So this is something very important. A devotee should be strong enough at least to save himself from the material nature. But if he is married and he has got family, if he's a leader, he has got dependents, if he's a community head and he has so many people under him, then he should be spiritually more qualified. Even though Krishna's mercy can make us qualified, but we should be qualified enough to get that mercy also. This is something very important. So every spiritual sadhaka, practitioner, should be very strong spiritually. It is very easy to show ourselves as a follower of Prabhupada, but it is real tough to apply everything in our life and becoming very strong and facing this material world. But Ashwatthama was not qualified, unqualified person. So, like one Maharaj said, 99% of our spiritual life is based on how properly we chant the holy name, But you see, on the other hand, Prahlad and Dhruva, they were like 10-year-old, 12-year-old, and they were qualified enough to rule a whole kingdom. And they were ruling planets together. Spiritually very strong, right? So Ashwatthama, what do we learn from Ashwatthama's life? He's immature, was unqualified. Easily he will get influenced by this material nature. Then comes the answer to this question. So how? And Arjuna becomes the answer, So here Arjuna represents a normal person. Arjuna is representing a normal, simple person of this world. So Arjuna is like he had all kinds of, when you read Mahabharata, not much in Bhagavatam, but in Mahabharata, Arjuna shows ego. Arjuna is little possessive. Arjuna is sometimes behind name, fame, glory. Like a regular devotee, even like once Krishna told Arjuna, now battle is over. Mahabharata is over, 18 days war is over. Why don't you just give up your Gandiva? You don't need that bow anymore. When they burned that forest, Agni Deva gave that bow as a gift to Arjuna. So Krishna said, keep it. It will be useful for you. And Gandiva bow was very useful in the battle. So now the battle is over, everything is over. Then Krishna told Arjuna, just give this bow, give up this. You don't need this anymore. But Arjuna, by the time Arjuna started using this bow and he became very deeply attached to that bow and he was not ready to give it up. There is a nice story in connection with that. Some 20 men were going in a boat and there was a heavy storm and the boat was washed away and they were all in the ocean drowning, and somehow they swam and they found an island, no man's land, nobody is there. So they all somehow took shelter of the island. And they were screaming for help, yelling, but nobody noticed. Nobody from the mainland noticed them. Then they were hungry, and one person said, okay, let us find some food here in the island. They were hunting for food and this. And slowly they started living in the thing. And that person started guiding them, let us make a hut, let us make this, let us make that, let us, hunt for food and things like that. Then after a few months, they were getting adjusted in the island. And after a few months, one day they saw a ship passing by. And all of them screamed, and people from the ship also noticed them, and they came to rescue. But this leader said, we don't have to go. Everything is okay here in this island. Are you not getting food? Are you not happy? What is there in the mainland? They're all people fighting, and there's competition, ego. Let us be happy here. And people are wondering what happened to this man. In the few months, he started enjoying his leadership. He doesn't want to give up that faith. So in the same way, Arjuna used Gandiva for some time, and he got attracted to Gandiva. Very powerful weapon. He used that to fight with Lord Shiva also. Not even a single arrow from that bow will miss the aim. Very special bow. With one arrow, he can bring rains from the sky. With another one, he can bring water from Ganges. Very powerful bow. So since Arjuna was using that bow regularly, he was even called Gandivadari, not ready to give it up. Then when Krishna said, please give it up, he said, yes, but he didn't do. Anukulyena Krishnanushilanam Bhaktiruttama. We need a very strong courage to say no to this material world. It is easy to accept the principles of Krishna consciousness, and it is little difficult to accept the principles of Krishna consciousness, at the same time say no to material things. So these are two aspects. One is accepting the principles of Krishna consciousness. Another thing is simultaneously saying no to the material things. But sometimes devotees, what they do, they really accept the principles of Krishna consciousness. They get up, they chant, they read everything. On the other hand, they read novels, they go to movies, they do all those things which are detrimental to Krishna consciousness. They do both parallelly. It needs a terrific courage to say no to the other side. For that, the sadhaka should be very serious practitioner. So even though Arjuna was a wonderful devotee, he couldn't say no to Gandiva because he was attracted. That name, fame, glory he got from Gandiva, it's very, very attractive. He said, yes, Krishna, yes, I will throw this Gandiva, but he did not go throw Gandiva. He kept it. And Krishna noted it. Then Krishna said, Arjuna, I have committed a lot of sins during Mahabharata battle. I spoke so many lies, I did this, I did that, So I'm planning to go to Prabhas Tirtha, the holy place, in Veraval. I'll go there in Prabhas Tirtha, I will take bath and come. Till then, you please take care of all my queens, Then Arjuna was wondering why Krishna is saying that. If Krishna is going, I'm sure it's my duty, I will take care of his family till he comes back. So Krishna went, and Krishna again and again, Krishna said, Gandivadari, please take care of my family. Gandivadari, please take care of my family. He was using that word Gandivadari, because somehow Arjuna did not obey Krishna. So Krishna went to Prabhas Tirtha. And he went and he took a bath. Krishna was taking bath and doing all the puja rituals. By the time, some few dacoits, thieves, simple thieves, like pickpockets or something like that, they came, defeated Arjuna and kidnapped 16,000 queens of Krishna. Simple. Arjuna, who has fought with Lord Shiva, had a terrific battle, and he was never faced defeat in any of the battles, was easily taken over by these people. And Krishna came back from Prabhas Tirtha and saying, Arjuna, the yatra was very good. I did that. I did this. Okay, where are my wives? Then Arjuna was in deep shame. He could not even face Krishna. He came and said, some people came and defeated me. Who came? Lord Shiva came and defeated you? Or some powerful demons from Netherlands, they came and defeated you? And Arjuna said, no, some thieves. Hare Arjuna, Gandhivadari, how you got defeated? You couldn't use your Gandhiva? Then Arjuna realized, I should have given up this Gandhiva. Krishna told me repeatedly to give it up. So Arjuna did not obey. Right? There are many examples. Another story in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Krishna kept quiet, Arjuna went and declared that I will wage a war and protect all your 10 sons. He made a promise to Brahmana. So like this, many instances, even Arjuna proved to be little egoistic and not obedient and all to Krishna. But Krishna said, Bhaktosi me sakacheti rahasyam hi etaduttam. You are my dear friend as well as devotee. And what made Arjuna special? When you see externally, Arjuna also had all these same qualities like Ashwatha. But what made Arjuna so special? Even here, Arjuna is making a beautiful prayer. Krishna Krishna Mahabaho Bhaktanam Abhayankara Tvam Eka Dakhyamananam Apavargosi Samshrute. And what makes Arjuna is so special is, even though Arjuna is with a lot of mistakes and fall, he will simply get connected to Krishna again and again and again. He will come back and connect himself to Krishna. That's why Krishna says, you are my dear friend. So this is something very important in a devotee's life. We are all not faultless. We also have so much of faults. We have dual phase, we have multiple phase. When we are in an assembly of devotees, we behave very humbly, very politely, like a Vaishnava. But nobody is watching us, then we behave in a different way. Sometimes the intention behind devotional service is also not very pure. Sometimes it is to seek name fame. Sometimes it is to impress someone. Sometimes it is for some kind of a goodwill. The intention is also not pure. So we have to. A devotee, like Arjuna is getting connected to Krishna again and again and again in the same way. A devotee has to get connected. That is what a prayer means. The prayer like Prabhujis were singing Kirtan before this class. And the translation is a prayer. So praying to Krishna again and again and again, it is like chiseling ourselves, and converting a rock into a statue. The rock which avoids the hammer and chisel will never turn into a statue. No one is perfect in this world. Like every diamond, when it is taken from the ore, it is dirty, it is not in a proper shape, and we have to polish it. So the cleaning process, Cheto Darpanam Arjanam, it's a constant cleaning process, because material nature is constantly working. And if we lag in chanting, if we don't do these things properly, material nature will easily affect us. So again and again begging for the mercy of Krishna, again and again chanting, and all these things are very, very important. So this is a prayer, like we offer prayers again and again to Krishna to purify us and accept us in his service. Like there was a spiritual master, and the spiritual master used to give instruction to his disciple, do this, do that. And the disciple was a bit lazy. Like Narada Muni is telling Brahmaji, Brahma is asking, what is the biggest obstacle in Kali Yuga for Kali Yuga people to progress in Krishna Bhakti, in devotion to Krishna? Narada Muni said, laziness and lust. These are the two big obstacles. Like in Mukundamala Stotra, Kulashekara Alvar says, Alasyam vyapani yadbhakti sulabham dhyayasva narayanam lokasya vesanapanodana karo dasasya kim nakshamaha. Alasyam vyapani, laziness. That's a very big obstacle in Kali Yuga. You know, so Narada said to Brahmaji, laziness and lust are the two big obstacles. So, how this spiritual master is giving so many instruction to disciple, and the disciple is like a lethargic and lazy. Somehow he will find a loophole and a justification for not doing it. He will say, by doing that, in what way that seva is going to help me? You are asking me to go and cut that vegetable from the garden. How Krishna will be happy with that? You know, he used to always ask questions and questions and questions. And the Guru thought, this boy is a tough person. I have to really teach him a lesson. Then one day he gave a basket, you know, the basket which has got all holes. And he said, the river flowing down, go collect water and bring that, right? And the disciple said, how can I collect water in a basket? By the time I come, all the water will drain. And the spiritual master said, no. If your chanting is proper, you will be a dharmic, you will be a, dharmic person. Then the water will not drain from the basket. So the disciple said, okay. So he ran to the river, tried to collect water and come back. By the time he comes, the water is drained. Again, he will run. And the Guru is telling, no, you should be more faster. You should run faster, and even more faster. So he will go up and down and up and down. And how much ever he tried, the water will drain from the basket. So finally he said, no, this is impossible. Then the Guru said, yes, that is impossible. You can never collect water in a basket. Definitely it will go down. But then why did I tell you? Now you see the basket is clean, spick and span, so clean. So a Guru may give you instruction. Don't use your intelligence and try to question. Simply obey, and that will purify you. So Arjuna simply surrendered to Krishna. Karishye vachanam thava. And he was connecting himself again and again to Krishna and purifying himself. So these are the lessons we learned from Ashwatthama. He was immature, unqualified, and easily influenced by material nature. Even though Arjuna also had this fault, Arjuna was connecting again and again. So we should also connect. We may do mistakes. You know, we may fall from our principles. We may not chant properly. And some days we may do mistake. We may fall. But then we should connect ourselves back again to Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much for the opportunity. So Prabhuji, any question, any comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful lecture. Does anybody have if anybody has any questions or comments, they may raise their hand or they can unmute themselves. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. May I go? I have a question. Yeah. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you very much. It was very enlightening lecture and lot of food for thought to look inward with our own spiritual practices. Thank you. My question is more about the story of Ashwatthama. When Ashwatthama does this heinous crime of killing the sleeping children, there's a big debate going on about what's the suitable punishment for him, and Draupadi prevails, and that jewel in his head is taken out. So that leads one to believe that Ashwatthama lost his power. How, after all that, he turns around and still launches the Brahmastra to Uttara's child? Does it mean he still had power, or what does that teach us?
Okay. Ashwatthama is a very special, blessed person. He was Chiranjeevi, you know. means he can live for an enormous number of years. One among the Chiranjeevis. So even devas, demigods, and asuras, they're all wanting to live for long, want to become Chiranjeevis, and that blessings is there with Ashwatthama. So he had so many blessings. Then Krishna wanted to punish him because he did that heinous act, but Draupadi's prayer, when Draupadi went and said, genuinely, I don't want to see another Brahmana lady suffering like me, and this thing. So Krishna just took that Chudamani. So even though there the translation says it took his powers, actually it didn't took his powers, it took his tejas out of him. The right Sanskrit word is tejas. He was brilliant looking, he was dazzling personality, he was looking like a Surya Deva. So that tejas was lost. So when people see him, they will know, okay, this man had done a heinous crime. So the tejas was taken away from him. And he still had the power of sending Brahmastra, but he doesn't know how to take it back. So he continued to do that mistake again against Uttara's wound. So second time what happened, Krishna punished him by casting leprosy on him. So the greatest boon of living like a Chiranjeevi in this world, now turned into a curse. So Ashwatthama will live long till the end, till Pralaya, but he will be living with leprosy. So it is said, even today he is roaming in Himalayas like a leper. So the greatest curse turned to be, the boon turned to be a greatest curse. That is how Krishna punished him. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hari Prabhu, if there are no more questions, can I ask one more if no one else is waiting?
I don't see any hands, so of course you can go ahead.
Prabhu, thank you. It's very clear that you have the influence of Kulashekhara Alvar because you reside in the Holy Dham. Could you, if there is time, could you speak a little bit about that temple that you're serving in Tiruvalla?
Okay, I am from Trivandrum. Kulashekhara was the king of Trivandrum. Kulashekhara Alvar was the king of Trivandrum. Then from there, he took sannyas and he moved to Srirangam. So from Trivandrum above north, up north 100 kilometers, there's a town called Tiruvalla. There is a Srivallabhakswami Temple. The whole temple, amazingly, it is all connected and dedicated to Ekadashi. The whole temple is for Ekadashi, So we can understand how important Ekadashi Vrata was in those days. Everybody used to follow Ekadashi in the temple. So one elderly lady very sincerely following Ekadashi. And her husband passed away. She was illiterate. So she doesn't know how to calculate the 15 days. Now you have all the app and calendar and everything. You click, when is the next Ekadashi. Suppose we tell you, you have to calculate yourself about Ekadashi. That's all. We will be in soup. So this lady was a simple village lady. So she used to have 15 seeds, tamarind seeds. So every day she will move one seed, and the 15th seed means then that is Ekadashi for her, 15 days between one Ekadashi to another. But Ekadashi doesn't come like that, Sometimes there is a difference of 1 day, 2 days. So most of the time she used to follow on the wrong day. She used to observe Ekadashi on the wrong day. Now you tell me whether Krishna will give the benefit or not. She was following Ekadashi on the wrong day. Will she get benefit or not?
Yes.
Yes, because her intent was sincere.
Yeah. But villagers were all making fun of her. They will say, our Ekadashi is different, your Ekadashi is different. They will make fun. But this lady was very sincere. She used to fast the whole day. And second day, she She will feed somebody, then only she will break her fast. So she will wait for some Brahmana, some Vaishnava, some devotees to come and honor Prasad. Because it is a wrong Ekadashi, nobody used to visit her house, and she used to starve. So people will send their children, okay, go, you play with her and eat food and come, so like that. So when children were coming, there was a demon on the way who's blocking the children. So this old lady was sincerely praying, and Srivallabha actually went to that lady in the form of a small Brahmin boy and told the lady, keep prasad ready, I have small work, I'll just finish it and come. Keep the food ready, I'm coming there, And Krishna went and killed the demon and came back and took prasad from this lady. After that, that lady had a prasadam. So this deity is completely dedicated for this Ekadashi Leela. So Srivallabha deity is also called the Ekadashi Appan locally. They call him Lord of Ekadashi. So then there was another temple where Krishna went and killed the demon. There was another small temple, traditional temple, some 1,000-year-old temple. So few Brahmin families were managing the temple and they could not manage the temple. So they handed over that temple to ISKCON. So now ISKCON is managing the temple, which is like 300, 400 meters from Srivallabha temple. And Kulashekara Alvar had sung about Srivallabha, the first shloka of Mukunda Mala. It says, Srivallabheti Varadeti Dayapareti Nadeti Nagashayaneti Jagannivaseti Alapinam Pratidinam Kurumam Mukunda. So he started with Srivallabha. So that's a special place. And 6 Divya Desham temples are around this Srivallabha temple in a radius of 10 kilometers. 6 temples are there. So when you come down to India, please do visit. There are so many beautiful temples. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Does anybody else have any other questions? Other than when's the next ISKCON Columbus Yatra to Kerala? That's that we're all already planning that in our heads by the description. Does anybody else have any other questions? If not, Prabhu, I have a question. You're mentioning in the final point about surrender to the spiritual master and not using our so-called intelligence or mental reduction to try to understand the spiritual master's orders through the example of the pot and the holes. So I was thinking this in how to use our intelligence, because if you think about it, even in the Bhagavatam, there's this example of Sukracharya and Bali Maharaj, that Bali Maharaj kind of conduces, okay, this Sukracharya he was accepted Sukracharya as a spiritual master, but then he rejected him when he realized he wasn't getting him closer to Krishna. He was just kind of going for his internal motives or anything. So if we follow exactly what the spiritual master says without intelligence, how can we know if they're because when the spiritual master gives instructions, it follows Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. So without the intelligence, how can you discern whether you are, Prabhupada calls this in SSR, the swindlers and the saints? How do we know which one is which?
Okay. So that is an extreme example because Shukracharya was clearly against Vishnu. So first of all, you can't even call Shukracharya a spiritual master. Shukracharya was Kula Guru of Mahabali. So spiritual master and Kula Guru is different. In India, every traditional temple houses in those days, they have a ceremonial priest for the family. Every family will have a ceremonial priest. So now naming the babies, getting married inside the family members, and all these things. So Shukracharya was a ceremonial priest for a well-wisher and like for the asuras, and he was against Vishnu. But here we are talking about spiritual masters who have dedicated their life. And that period of examining a guru or trying to understand the guru is called Ashraya period. Ashraya and Diksha. So as human beings, normally our tendency is to question things. And Bhagavatam allows that. That's why you say Bhagavad-Gita is a question answer. Bhagavatam is also question answer. Ramayana is a question answer. All the 108 Upanishads are question and answers. That means you should, as you rightly said, you should ask questions, clear yourself, check your guru, all that. And that period is called Ashraya. Once we have done that, and when we are committed to spiritual master, then there is no more this thing, right? Even sometimes the guru may not be a Param Bhagavata. There are situations in our parampara where the disciple is Param Bhagavata and guru is not Param Bhagavata. For example, Gadadhar Pandit got secret mantra from Pundarika Vidyanidhi. And Gadadhar Pandit forgot the mantra. The mantra was a little long and, Gadadhar Pandit, I don't know, Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, how forget. Some Leela, he forgot the mantra. So he went and told Lord Chaitanya, I forgot the mantra from Pundarik Vidyanidhi, can you tell me? Asking the Supreme Lord. But Lord Chaitanya said, go back to Pundarik Vidyanidhi and take him from him again. So sometimes the disciple is Param Bhagavata, Guru is not so much. Still, they have to follow the system. So the Ashraya period, you can ask questions, you can Pariprashnena Sevaya, you can do all those things. Once that you are convinced, okay, this person is on the right track. He may not be a Param Bhagavata like Vyasadev, Shuka Maharshi, Prabhupada, or something like that. But if he's a sincere follower, we have to simply get connected to that. And we continue. Is that clear, Prabhuji?
That makes a lot of sense, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Sadhguru Chaitanya Prabhu, you have a question?
Yeah, just one small comment.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hari. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for coming and giving your association. It was really nice to have your association every time. Prabhu, I have one question, like a small related to this. I never hear that Arjuna was disobedient to Krishna. This is the first time I'm hearing. It was little shock for me also, because so far I hear Arjuna is always obedient and is a very good friend and always abides with whatever Krishna says. But of course he does that, but he also has some ego, which is very new for me to know that. And in Mahabharata, Prabhu, who can be termed as a ideal leader? Because we have a Bhishma, we have Drona, we have Yudhishthira Maharaj. Because everybody has some faults also. We've seen in even Yudhishthira was about to not to tell lie because he was fixed with this vow. And each one has some different things. Who we can say ideal leader in Mahabharata?
Okay. So there is a big difference from Ramayana and Mahabharata. Ramayana, if you see, each personality is so perfect, very difficult to find a fault with them. See, if you take Lakshmana's character, he's so perfect. Bharata, again perfect, all Mr. Perfects, all that, very difficult. So that bhava, that mood, that lesson is different. Mahabharata is a combination. So Vyasadeva says it applies to human being. Ramayana is for appreciation, respect, and adoration and prayer, where Mahabharata is for lesson and putting it into practical application and things like that. Ramayana you can worship, very difficult to be like Ram, very difficult to be like Lakshmana and all these things. So there you simply worship that, But here Mahabharata, we are trying to take all those things. So each person is a combination of right and wrong. If you take Yudhishthira, 90% right and 10% wrong. Bhima, baby, all different combination. That is why Mahabharata says it applies to human being, in a very broader sense. And when somebody reads Mahabharata, he can identify his mentality with somebody. Okay, this is what I am. It is like a mirror trying to show what is wrong with it. But when the same personalities are presented in Bhagavatam, only their devotional side is presented. How wonderful those devotees are. But when the same personalities are presented in Mahabharata, it is a combination of everything. Like Arjuna was a bit egoistic. He had this competitive mentality with Karna. Sometimes he doesn't listen to Krishna. And all these things you will see only in Mahabharata. You won't see all these things in Bhagavatam. So what do you say? The genre, what do you call GNRE? In movie they say no. What do you say? This is this genre movie or something like that. So Mahabharata is different, Ramayana is different. So here we are not trying to see who is Mr. Perfect. Here we are seeing what are the things, combinations we have, how much percentage of good and bad. Another an analogy given is, there are 4 yugas, Satya, Treta, Dwapara, Kali. In Satya Yuga, good and bad was in 2 planets, Swargaloka and Narakaloka, 2 planets. Then came Treta Yuga, good and bad in 2 countries, Ayodhya and Lanka. Ram and Ravan, 2 countries. First it was 2 planets, then it became 2 countries. Then came Dwapara Yuga, good and bad, Pandava, Kaurava, 2 families. First it was 2 planets, then it became 2 countries, then it became 2 planets, 2 families. And in Kali Yuga, both of them is in 1 person, good and bad. Mornings he's a very good person, and the same guy is the worst in the night, like that. So in Dwapara Yuga, it's a combination. So if you see Bhishma, like you can see 90% good, 95% good, but there's one small defect, what? He did not protect Draupadi. Like that, it's a combination. The whole storyline is different. So everyone you will see like that in Mahabharata. But in Ramayana, you will get so many Mr. Perfects.
Thank you, Prabhu. If
Thank
there
you.
are time permits, then I want to ask another one. Hari,
Yes.
please let me know.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu. It's not related to this, Prabhu, but general question. We seen several references and scriptural injections from Prabhupada and different books we've seen. Like everything is says mostly like Vaishnava scriptures, which praises the Lord, and we want to be as devoted to be the Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna. That's what we see in so many things. And some people who are outside, they may feel that all the scriptural things what we are referring is all based on the Vaishnava scriptures. But there are like 18 Puranas, there are different other scriptures, which is also bona fide. And most of the things what we refer and Prabhupada has given us is, I felt it's mostly, I also came across through Vaishnava scriptures. But people claim that other scriptures are also there, which never told about Krishna's worship or Vishnu's worship. So how do we, talk to them when they raise a challenging questions like that? You are like following only few scriptures, and that's why you are seeing like this. There are other scriptures that we have a different dimension where like Devi is being glorified, or Lord Shiva is the Supreme Lord, and Lord Ganesha is the Supreme Lord, something like that. But how do we, understand and instruct those kind of things? People like this is like a bona fide, and this we know with Bhagavatam is like Amala Purana. So that is the reason we are referring Bhagavatam all the time. But some people feel that this is only Vaishnava scriptures. You are always referring Vaishnava scriptures and say this is the ultimate. So how do we clarify this, bro?
Yeah, that is a little difficult question, because Ramanujacharya had the same debate for so many days. Madhvacharya had the same debate, So if you see Ramanujacharya's life, Madhvacharya's life and all, they also came across so many pandits from different sampradayas and different spiritual line, and they used to have debates for days and days together. Okay, so we can, if somebody is very well versed in all the scriptures and Puranas, who is practical, he's got a practical thinking capacity, level-headed, we can come up to this point that Vishnu is supreme. That much we can prove from all the scriptures. Because Ramanujacharya debated with 63 Nayanmars Devaram, in Srirangam. Devaram, that's a powerful book, in Tamil Nadu. There are 63 Nayanmars, followers of Lord Shiva. They composed, around during it is like contemporary to Ramanujacharya's time. So he defeated them on the basis of Devaram. Like Ramanujacharya is speaking from Nalayara Divya Prabandham, and the Saivites are speaking from Devaram. And using that Devaram, he proved that Vishnu is supreme. So if somebody is very good in scriptures, he can prove that Vishnu is supreme. But from scriptures, you cannot prove that Krishna is supreme. Up to Vishnu, you can prove. You cannot prove Krishna. So till Lord Chaitanya's time, the highest destination of a spiritualist is moksha. Nothing beyond moksha was spoken till Lord Chaitanya's time. Only after Mahaprabhu's time, what is beyond moksha, that 5 different bhavas, vatsalya, madhurya, and all these things were explicitly spoken. So Vishnu is supreme can be proved if somebody is really thorough and well versed with all the scriptures, and if he has got in a parampara, he can prove. To that point he can prove, even from Shiva Purana, even from Skanda Purana. Skanda Purana is it's a nice story how Skanda Purana came into existence. Subramanya Kartikeya had many questions, so he went and asked Brahmaji. Brahmaji could not answer, so he put Brahmaji in a prison. Then he went and asked his father. Father could not answer, so he put his father in a prison. He went and asked his brother. Brother could not answer, so he put everybody in a prison, arrested them. Subramanya, sweet little boy, he had questions. Nobody could answer. Then Brahma thought, what is this small boy is arresting all the powerful gods of this world? So he begged the Lord, and Lord came in disguise and helped Brahmaji to answer. So Skanda Puran is the longest Puran, the biggest Puran. So this young boy shooting questions and Brahma is answering. Actually, Krishna is answering through Brahma, helping him. So Skanda Puran very clearly says, even our shloka is taken from Skanda Puran. Mahaprasade Govinde Nama Brahmani Vaishnave. If somebody believes these 5 things, Mahaprasada of Govinda, Govinda's Nama, Brahmana, Vaishnava, Prasada, Govinda, Govinda Nama, Brahmana, Vaishnava. Somebody has faith in these 5 things, he will cross this material ocean. So many of our prayer mantras, like Yani Kani Cha Papani, Brahma Hatya Dikani Cha, so much of our prayer mantras are taken from Skanda Puran. So if somebody is very well versed from all the scriptures, we can easily prove that Vishnu is supreme. That much we can prove.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you very much. It's a very nice information. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it's 9 o'clock, Prabhu. I don't see any other hands raised or anything like that. We want to be respectful of your time and everyone's time. So we will pause our study of the Bhagavatam this week. Thank you so much, Jagat Sakshi Prabhu, for coming and serving the Srimad Bhagavatam so nicely. It's really great to hear you again and again. So we will end with Vaishnava Pranam Mantra, and we will go from there. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evata patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Everybody can unmute themselves and say 3 big Haribols for Jagat Sakshi Prabhu. Haribo! Hari Haribo!
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.